What is happening in there, J Gamer Dude here, and I have got some great news that I kind of wanted to talk about. And I feel like this is such big news for myself that I can't not talk about it. And I absolutely do want to ask people in the audience, what do you guys think of Crash and Spyro? Two franchises that were competing with each other during the PS1 generation between Naughty Dog making Crash and Insomniac making Spyro games. We now find ourselves with both of those properties under Activision, and then eventually companies like Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob do put their hand in actually creating some of these titles. Now, there was some news in Activision that pretty much every sort of subsect of Activision was working on Call of Duty, and that included Toys for Bob, Beanox, and other Raven Software and other studios like that under the Activision label. They're all practically just working as a part of the Call of Duty engine. Now, though, it has been announced as of about a week ago, because I was a little bit late to this, that Toys for Bob has gone indie. I am so very excited for this. And the fact that they've got indie is one thing, but the other thing that's also interesting to note is that because they're not under Activision anymore, they don't have access to those Activision IPs. So they could either look to do new IPs with similar elements to games that they've done before. I mean, they did, as it says right here, they did Skylanders with as like a new sort of Spyro IP, which Skylanders, for those of you guys that don't know, was Toys to Life. You had a little portal that was a sort of peripheral, and then the other thing would be these characters within Skylanders. So for example, you'd have Spyro, you'd have Cinder, you'd have Gil Grunt, for example, like he was one of the first ones, Trigger Happy, these random characters. And so each of these characters you put onto the portal and you could use them within the game. Now, when it comes to upgrades and things like that, they will all be saved within the actual character. So this was pretty much what amiibos were, where the progress is saved within the character. So for example, you play Skylanders, you're like, cool, okay, now I want to play, I don't know, Skylanders Giants with the same character. You'd have the same character, the same name that you gave them when you first started playing with the character, and also the same upgrades that were given to said character as you played through, I don't know, the original Skylanders, and now you want to play with them in Giants or Swap Force or Trap Team or whatever have you. There were lots of different Skylanders games, and then they also did make Crash Bandicoot 4, so Crash 4, these guys made as well, which was an enormous level up from what Crash was, from Crash 1 to Crash 3 especially, since the remastering trilogy was done by Vicarious Visions, not by Toys for Bob. But there was a new level added in called Future Tense, which is an extra level to Crash 3. And so that then became the seed that was planted ultimately that led us as Crash fans to believe that there would be another Crash game. And sure enough, the complex platforming, the additional elements, stuff like the inverted mode, the gems, the fact that there are 5 gems you can get in each level, and some of them will lead to new outfits and things like that, but also an increase in challenge, the use of abilities being a lot more substantial than they ever have been in the past, because like in Crash 3 you'd beat bosses, you'd get new abilities. Some of those abilities would be usable in certain locations, but it's made much more sort of full circle with those abilities in Crash 4, as you use them a lot more often in a lot more unique and creative ways as well. And of course, the recommendation to try and like beat the game while trying to die as little if not at all, because that kind of harkens back to sort of Crash 1 days. And then they also did the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which looks bloody excellent, and honestly I had a lot of fun playing through playing through the entire trilogy, because like between Crash and Spyro, I am way more of a Spyro boy than a Crash boy, but I did, kind of grow up with both of those franchises on my PS1 back in the day, and then to get again see them with like newer life and everything, it just feels really, really good. Oh, and they also did Crash Team Rumble, but with Toys for Bob going indie, Crash Team Rumble is not going to be shutting down. Like, the game will still be active, it's just that they're going to stop doing seasonal updates, and instead of any paid content, if you jump into Crash Team Rumble right now, for the first time, you will have a 300 tier battle pass that consists, and that battle pass is for free, so you don't pay a cent in this game anymore, and you can just earn all of the stuff that people would have had to pay for during those previous 3 seasons. So I assume that each of the seasons had 100 levels in each battle pass, and then now we have a single 300 free, like a single free 300 step battle pass instead for Crash Team Rumble. So that, I totally forgot about that. Let's see, what else did they do? Crash 4, It's About Time, again a significant step up from Crash 3, and it certainly seems to have taken some small elements from stuff like Crash of the Titans in terms of level design and things like that, which is kind of appreciated. What else do we have? Okay, Warzone, we'll ignore that, because they did help with Warzone Reignited Trilogy. Absolutely a bloody momentous occasion to see such great games get remastered. Skylanders, yeah, kind of talked about that one. And okay, they did they did Extreme Skate Adventure. That's new to me. Star Control, Jesus Christ. 102 Dalmatians though, puppies to the rescue. Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. I'm curious as to which versions of Downhill Jam Toys for Bob did on that one. But yeah, ultimately, honestly, actually, I totally forgot to mention, Spyro Reignited Trilogy still has the Spyro color changing cheat still active as well. That's actually really, really cool to know. Because I played Spyro 1 as a different color, Spyro 2 as a different color, and then Spyro 3 as another color, but none of them were purple, which was actually really funny. But yeah, this is great news. And supposedly, actually, going back to the letter that they had made, or rather the We're Going Indie sort of blog post, one of the most interesting things that I saw was, what was the wording here? Here we go. So, second to the last paragraph is, our friends at Activision and Microsoft have been extremely supportive of our new direction, and we're confident that we will continue to work closely as a part of our future. So even though they're not necessarily part of Activision or Microsoft, since Microsoft bought Activision, they can still work together as a partner. And then this final bit, so keep your horns on and eyes out for more news. Thank you to our community of players for always supporting us through our journey. We can't wait to share updates on our new adventure as an indie studio. And this leads me to believe that there's a possibility we may get a brand new Spyro game. Nothing to do with a Hero's Tale, nothing to do with Enter the Dragonfly, not touching the Legend of Spyro, certainly. That was more of an RPG kind of action game rather than, what we know Spyro to be, which is a platformer. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, so I'm very, very excited to see that. I just kind of wish we got Spyro 4 over Crash 4, but again, Crash 4 was so good and so quality that seeing a Spyro 4 just makes me so much more excited. But with all that said and done, this is about Toys for Bob. Let me know what you guys think about what their future is going to be, the games that they've made, and anything and everything that I've talked about in this video today. So yeah, it would definitely be appreciated, because I do want there to be a bit more of a conversation in the comments below. Albeit that, this is kind of more for an older audience, since, the Spyro and Crash games were on PS1 after all. That's how long ago we're kind of talking about. And I don't think we're going to be getting Crash Bash after Crash Team Rumble, necessarily. I actually personally hated Crash Bash, but even then I still played it a lot as a kid. That was an interesting one. But yeah, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 200 subs by the end of the year. And I do want my videos to go out to more people. Hopefully more sort of Crash Spyro fans, kind of see the video. See, the news about Toys for Bob. And hopefully, we kind of get a little bit more positivity given that Vicarious Visions kind of no longer exists anymore. And that we got Tony Hawk 1+2. We're not going to get a 3+4 anymore, even though that was originally in the works, which is very sad to hear about. So, in saying that, with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.